program, and we're working with advanced, are committed to that long-term program as well, so we're not recommending changes in the program, but it is continuing to watch and monitor and work with the DNR on this program.
So that monitoring will continue, as your second part of the tab would be, nothing will change that monitoring program unless it's recommended by the department.
But, well, if you read carefully, some of it's good news, some of it's inconclusive, some of the concentrations are less, some are more. Means we have to keep monitoring.
And I think that's the thing, we do look for long-term trends, and we do tend to see short-term trends. We've talked about that as we excavated and removed waste from LGRL. We expected some short-term trends, but we are watching that long-term, whether it's, the monthly, it's what's happening on an annual basis, and it's what's happening on multiple annual basis, multiple years.
I think the graphs really help a lot. I really do. Question some of the formulas. You've got some interesting line effects on these. But the graphs really help me as far as looking at trends. And the trends on the vast majority actually look good.
So get that feedback back to compare.
I don't think the graphs are included in the hard copy, the one in the electronic version.
They're on that CD also. The ones where there's like 200 some pages, we don't put all that in. So it's all on the CD at least, and then in the hard copies.
Anything else on that one? Tab 13 is the rain and load inspection. It says no follow-up action is warranted. I don't know if there's anything you see that's noteworthy on that.
No,
Or anybody else? Tab 14 is correspondence about odor complaints. Looks like there's 6 of them during March. I have a note according to Jason. We can go through this.
yeah, it was a little bit in the overview too. As we get higher, since we are putting wells in sooner than what was done in the past, you do have more of an inclination with that. You'll get some bellies and some lines that'll water out. You won't get full back into those wells. So we did have a couple of those that did get watered out, and we did have to run new laterals too. They're noted in the overview. 119, 145, and then a couple other had reduced vacuum that we were able to correct. So that was a big deal. We also, in preparation of the final cover that is happening this year, there's going to be roughly a 10-acre cover. We are cutting that waste to grade, so there's an overfill that you're allowed to fill over permitted waste grades to allow for settlement. But by the time you go to do actual final cover work, that has to be at permitted waste grade. You can't anticipate that settlement's going to incur after the final cover is placed. So we're actually putting that to grade, so you're digging into some old waste, getting that recovered. So we can do that final cover work this summer. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the screening. That's what we're screening the soils for. That's what some of the clay was brought in for on the clay wall. It was that color, not just the self-construction. So that was a big thing. Most of that work is done. Obviously, with the rain and snow that we've had recently, there's some slow work that we could not finish yet, so we have to wait for that to dry out. Obviously, April, May can be kind of hit or miss that way, but there isn't much left there to cut out, but we do have a little bit, and hopefully the weather will cooperate and we can hammer that out pretty quick. And then as soon as that's done, we'll be starting final cover construction.
When you do cut into that old waste that's been there to cut back grade, does that have a strong odor, or is that an odorless?
It'll be depending on what you're digging into. There's some spots where, yeah, absolutely, you can get some really good odors out of it. There's some spots you dig into, you don't know. It kind of depends on what the waste mass is right underneath. But a lot of times, absolutely, because the waste is decomposing already, so it's already got it.
So if you dig into a spot like that and you get strong odor, you cover it.
Yeah, we'll dig it down, we'll get it right to grade, and then we backfill. And then that area is also going to have that final cover up here this year, which I think is going to be really beneficial. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the
Yeah, some of them I think overlap, but if there are others to discuss, or others that people have questions or comments on, we can cover that.
I got called March 20th, once the water called on the landfill that Kikowski uses for their dump site. I called on Ron Walter out there, and he asked if somebody from the committee to come out and walk up the hill and see what they smell and things. I went out and met about 7 o'clock at night, walked around, walked the top of the hill. There was no water, no lingering of anything out there. It was at the top of the kind of hill, kind of road. Nothing up there. Got back from my cabin, by the cemetery, nothing. Went to Green Bay Drive, nothing. So I'm not sure what they were smelling, and the odd thing about it was the wind was from the north.
Here's another thing that I'd like to know about the smell. I did keep track for a 30-day period. There was 5 days where it did smell. So as you're going by, if you cannot smell it, as you're going by 67, there's something wrong. So you can smell it, and I come in at about 9:30 at night, pretty much the same time, maybe 9:25, and it is off. And I did keep track for a 30-day period. It was 5 days it did smell, so it was, well, you know, every time I go through and it doesn't smell, it's like, wow, I don't smell it. It's in my windows are closed in my vehicle. It's into your nostrils. The problem is, if it smells, and those odors that you're breathing in, that's also chemicals that you're breathing in that are bad. And I know we laugh and joke about it. It's not a joke.
Who's laughing? I made a comment, and I really appreciate the rebuttal on that, because I was asked to order to check something out.
Jake, I'm sorry, Sam. Jake, there's obviously a lot of complaints in here. I went back and I looked at the log. I looked at the temperature variations on those days too. I mean, I look at these temperatures and I think of myself going down to my basement, opening my freezer door and full of fish and meat and stuff. It doesn't smell. How does the landfill smell on those days when it's cold? But let me go a little further. Generally, once waste is buried, it doesn't stink. There's not an odor there. There may be a small odor in the area you were standing. Other than that, it doesn't go off site. Talk to us a little bit about one of the only places odor can be coming from. One would be the working face of the landfill. How do you go about covering that at the end of the night? And talk to us a little bit about the next morning. How do you reopen that? I want to understand further.
Yep.
And I want the committee to know how this process works.
So it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit with that plan mod report or the shredder fluff request. But so when we, at the end of the day, the compactors, they're compacting all day long. So we have stockpiles of that alternative daily cover or soils, whichever, that we can haul direct. And the compactor will grade the working face down one final time, get it as smooth as we can. Then we'll take 2 dozers, usually, depending on equipment as it breaks down stuff. But we'll take dozers and we'll spread that across the working face. On the top, we try to use that shredder fluff. We spread that 6 inches to a foot across the whole entire top of the working face, anywhere any garbage was dumped that day. The slope itself, we'll try to steep it up towards the end of the day, so that way it's not as big of cover. So we'll cover that with the paper mill sludge. We'll drag the dozer, they'll push that across 6 inches to a foot thick on that as well. If we're on an outside slope that's not tucked into the corner, then we use dirt as intermediate cover. That would put a foot thick. If it's on a slope where we know we're not going to be filling waste there again, we'll actually put topsoil on there. Obviously only during the warmer times when you can actually do the seeding. So that's kind of that, and then in the morning, we'll actually go back and the equipment will strip a lot of that cover so that way you don't have sheer plains where moisture or rainwater can kind of come in and hit that and then force leachate outbreaks outside the slope. So we strip a lot of that daily cover so we can tie that garbage in together. We do that with the paper mill sludge. The fluff kind of gets rolled in as you're scraping the top with every load you push off. But it's even bigger when you're tying it in a former intermediate slope, because then you're ripping that dirt off. Some of that waste can be older. It can be going into cells that were years and years old. So we do key that in mainly for twofold. One, for gas generation, that way it all commingles together, you don't have any shear points, and for leachate outbreaks, prevent any leachate outbreaks from actually happening.
And there was something else I noticed just while keeping track. It smelled at night, not during the morning. And I thought that was thermostatic key, so, maybe how we route. Okay, so.
I got one more question, you know, as I look at these complaints and ponder this odor thing, you've got a number of tanks out there underground and above ground, your leachate containment system. Those tanks are vented.
Yep.
Have you guys done any studies there as far as odor coming from those tanks? What's being generated there?
Yeah, on site at Glacier, which is, you know, mainly what I'm familiar with, these guys are familiar with, you know, more sites, but when those tanks are vented, like you say, and when a truck loads, we've never done any studies, but you can definitely smell it. When a truck's loading leachate, I just think you're aerating that, it's causing, so when it's being pumped into the tank with the vent, there's definitely odors that come out there too. There's a lift station that the leachate goes into, and then from there it's direct to the tanks. When the covers are open on there, when we've done sampling and stuff like that, you can definitely smell it as it's, you know, being generated into there, for sure.
So when it's agitated, it's
Yeah, it
odor
definitely,
producing.
it definitely exhausts some odors. I don't know if you see that at other sites, I don't know if there's any studies there, but,
Sorry, you can spend your comments, Myra, yes, I have seen that done, with the leachate, we have problems, not so much right here, but with the leachate, the lower incrementals, we've been asked to come in and start, you know, taking the leachate fully exposed to the atmosphere. In the trucking, you know, all this is typically a temporary situation, you know, for the business, but there are potentially some things that can be done when you're looking at how you load and unload. Look at that, Tyler, you've been on a number of sites as well.
We can agitate the liquid, it's similar to the concept of, you know, you aerate your glass of wine, it opens up the odor to the list, they're very acute, not a nuisance. Such an acute time and period when they're
What's the loading time for a truck, 20 minutes?
no, usually about 12 to 15 minutes to load a tanker. And I mean, it's through a small hatch too, you know, so it's not like the lagoons.
Are you doing any reuse of leachate on your, on the landfill itself for
We're
solidification purposes?
We're permitted for solidification, we're permitted for recirculation. We haven't actually recirculated leachate this year, last year, just because of our other waste masses. It ties back to that RD&D permit, which for the organic stability, you want some liquids in there to help that break down faster. We've been getting a lot of waste that have a higher moisture content, so we haven't had the need to recirculate it.
I think they're doing what they can to solve the odor problem, but it's not helpful. Personally, I'm an alderman, I get complaints from a lot more complaints than this, you know, and I'm, well, it's not pertinent, but I'm 73, I can't smell anything, okay? But I believe people who are telling me they can, most of them are, you know, one of them's my wife, I can't tell if she's out of her mind. However, it's not helpful for us, for anybody, to say it's all in our head. I mean, some people are smelling things that make them uncomfortable, and some of their visitors. So, as long as we have people who have the ability to smell things, we should listen to them and not think that they're just causing problems. Okay? And that's what I will tell you. People do smell things. If you have a friend with a cat, they can't smell their cat, but you can. Even I can smell the cat. And I'm just telling you, I know this is an argument, when you tell people you're seeing things, you're hearing things, or you're smelling things, it's not solving the problem that some people seem to have.
Any questions or comments or discussion on the last cap?
Litter control, typically with the vehicle, you can overview what we've done so far.
So for the highway, obviously spring's the worst time because you get winter, you can't get out there, you don't see it with the snow cover. As it melts, it can be soft on the shoulders, you know, not safe to get at it. You can get at it safely when it does warm up and dry up a little bit. We've had the Huracan Lions Club, they were out last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the week before. They were out again last night and tonight, finishing their cleanup on the highway. We've also had a couple of groups, the Huracan Marsh Bowman were out on site doing their spring cleanup. for the windblown litter. We've also had a couple of smaller groups too, some church groups, some fundraiser groups for field trips. They've been out. There's also a prom committee group from Mayville football, I believe, or Mayville softball. They're scheduled yet for this month coming up. So we got a number of groups. We're looking to do that earlier. We always had the Oregon Lions scheduled for basically the first week of April to start that. It's so seasonal, whether they can get out there earlier to start that or if it is first week in April. So we're going to look at hopefully starting that a little sooner, especially in groups that it permits.
Nothing else, I guess, that concludes, number 4, other than new business, so that's our next item, other new business.
Okay. This is related to the significant landfill activity.
And so if there's other new business, we can bring it up, it's not, there's no action for action, or we want to talk future agenda, we can do that too. Not decided, we're acting on talk.
Anybody got anything?
I'd like to know if the landfill is asking the DNR representative to come to the meeting.
Yes, we did, and I mean, their reason for not coming to this meeting was because they're going to be in town in the future for the upcoming festivities. So that is what we did.
You're the leader. You've waited for 2 months.
I agree. That's really good information.
Okay. If there isn't anything else, then the next thing would be adjournment. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion